Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to see between me and another comedian about religion and comedy. These are conversations I'm calling Disorganized Religion. God bless. And for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life.
Welcome for another edition of Disorganized Religion. We are here amidst the chaos of COVID-19, and I have two brave souls here with me today. First, I'm your host, Seth Lawrence, as always. That's me. And we have the disembodied voice of Travis Clyburn.
It's goddamn COVID-19.
We gotta go.
Coronavirus.
I'm glad to be here with you, Seth.
Thank you, man. Thanks for being here.
We were supposed to do one earlier and it got canceled, and I'm very sad about it.
I know. We'll get the guy back. We'll do it another time. For those of you who are just tuning in and you want to rewind, there's a headphone and earbud warning for the siren that goes off.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. So loud.
Added in the video. The podcast listeners are screwed, though.
I'll have to say, yeah, right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. If COVID-19 didn't kill them already, then this will.
This is just for the old.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I've been arguing is like no wonder the people in power are actually taking action against something.
Because they're the ones at risk.
They're the old
70.
people. Yeah.
And we don't have a vaccine, so it's not like we can help them preemptively.
Which, by the way, is my further proof of why I don't get a flu shot. It takes a year to make a vaccine for something.
Yeah.
The flu shot is always a guess.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe it'll...
From the flu last year.
Maybe.
So for those of you listening and watching, because Travis is off camera,
My mic fell.
It attacked
It just hit me.
his mic
Like
suffers
the government knows I'm on to something.
Mike suffers from ED, is what it is.
They're very, it's heavy and it's hard to get up.
That's,
Well, you know, COVID-19 comes for us all. Comes for us all. Who do you think started it?
My
think
dad has a
Bernie-
great deal of theories.
I bet he does.
my family, my sister's like sharing videos of like Chinese dudes in alleyways biting the heads off of rats and her being like, "This is what's happening."
all the videos from the wet market that they have, which is a horrifically terrifying place.
And that's the
honestly.
thing. I'm like, that's a horrible like stereotype. Absolutely not. Where'd they get that video? Where'd they get that
Do
video?
you know what the
though?
best comment?
mean-
my dad told me my favorite theory now. Now, I don't know if this is conservative propaganda, but also they don't pay the workers at the test facility where they test like viruses and stuff. They don't pay the workers.
China?
Yeah, in China.
Okay.
Because, you know, every like there's like a CDC, but for China, stuff like that.
Right.
And they have all these, they test on animals there. Now, the problem is they don't pay these workers who clean up. So they then take the animals
Yeah.
and then sell them at the wet market.
Oh,
So they're taking these animals that have been tested,
Yeah.
and they're selling them at the wet market.
Interesting.
And like that's there was a reporter in China who broke that story, and he is.
Oh, he's the one that got shipped off to Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think he's gone. He's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, they found him.
Well, no, no, he won't be found.
Yeah.
And there's another fun conspiracy theory that you know all those protests that were happening in China.
Yeah.
They really calmed the down, didn't they?
Well,
Oh,
and as far as we know, who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
right?
Well, they also have a jail on site now because they declared their form of martial law. So
In Hong Kong, you mean?
in
jail?
in Japan. Or sorry,
What are you
in
talking
China.
about?
I don't know what the I'm talking
Which
about.
Asian? Are we in Vietnam?
racism.
Listen, all I know is it's the apocalypse. Oh, that's the shower noise, not a shotgun. Okay.
We have to clean up.
You have to cry in the shower first, and then you have to shoot some people. That's the order of operations when dealing with the apocalypse.
I think usually shoot people then shower, right?
Indeed.
No, you have to let go
Yeah.
of the old world first.
No, word.
Oh, there you go. Wow, symbolism in the killing. And for your serial killer needs and pointers, we are joined by the mighty Katie Young.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
This
I'm
is
really
so fun.
excited. This is like only the either second or third podcast I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the other
really
two?
stoked.
What are the other two that viewers can find you on?
The first one was Cousins and Sons.
Okay. That's the
And
other one you
then-
guys produce?
Yeah.
Yes,
Travis
that is
produces.
yes,
Yeah. Fun.
the flagship podcast at this point.
And that one I was just a glowing bean of awkward. I didn't do well, but I love thank you, Cousins, for letting me come on anyway.
All right. Fun.
And then the other one was for the Ultimate Bringer show.
Right.
I recorded it with James Rios, and then we lost the recording, and then we meant to like record another one, and life was too stressful, so I was like, I don't care about anything except survival.
Oh, so this was recently then?
No, probably like 2-3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that was like 8 months ago.
Really? Are we just always in
It was
survival
before
mode?
we moved in together. Yeah. Oh, by the way, everyone, this is my girlfriend.
Hi.
That nepotism. No, you're a very funny comic. It's fun to have you on. You've been doing comedy how long now?
A year and a half almost.
Got it.
Almost a year and a half.
All in L.A.?
All in LA, yeah.
Yeah.
All in LA. Honestly, the furthest I've gone from LA is the Red Barn show.
She featured me at the Red Barn. It was great.
Oh, no kidding.
But that's
Where's that?
it.
Ohio?
No, Red Barn. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
No, Desert Palm. It's a show put on by John Hanford.
Gotcha.
It's just like 3 hours outside of the city. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really great
It's
show.
like going to another state.
Yeah.
I can't believe
People
how
are so
everything
different
is.
outside of L.A.
Yeah, they're desert people, man. They're just chilling.
yeah,
Just
they're
the
just
sand people.
relaxing. It's casinos and bars, and that's it. And they're having a good time.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. How much time did you do there?
15?
Nice.
Correct.
Yeah, 15.
Nice. Felt good about it?
Yes, I felt good about it. There were two
Good.
girls in the front that were just like texting on their phones, and I'm not quite strong enough with hecklers yet to like really put them in their place, so I
Sure.
didn't. So that's the only thing that I beat myself up about is I could have like the audience was deciding whether or not to pay attention to me or her,
Oh.
and I could have
I think you
Done
made the
something
right
about
decision to not talk to him, because sometimes if you just ignore him, like anyone who addressed him all night, they made a deal out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
wanted the attention.
Well,
Like
you
who
have-
the sits up front?
Yeah.
And at one point in time, I'm 20 minutes into my set, and I just hear a YouTube video playing.
Oh.
They just started watching a YouTube video, and I was like, they have decided
why are you
everyone's
here?
paying attention to me now. And they're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then all the attention focuses on them.
Yeah, of course.
To be fair, they had like purple hair. And like you don't.
yeah.
You
know what I
want
mean?
They
you want
wanted-
people looking at
Yeah.
it.
They needed it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
need
yeah, yeah.
for their hearts.
Yeah. It's probably just spiritual guidance to leave them alone.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
know.
Sometimes,
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes it's just like not worth it. you know?
Oh, for sure.
I'll get
Very
hecklers
fun.
though. I'll get them one day.
Do you think women get more hecklers than men? Oh, you meant you'll best them.
I'll best them.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll best
Got
them.
it.
But I actually, honestly, I haven't been doing it long enough, and I know that doing comedy in LA is so different from doing it
Right.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
So like people usually don't heckle in LA, actually, from my
Yeah.
experience. But
No,
I feel
that's
like
true.
anywhere else where like not everyone is a performer who's had their chance to shine today, they'll be like, "This is my chance. I can make a joke,"
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
you'll get heckled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually like the 40-year-old dude who's been working in a factory since he was 18. He's like, I always wanted to try stand up. Let's try it right now.
Let's do it.
From this
all
hot
the
seat.
all the guys
Yeah.
at work think I'm real fun. I'm the funniest guy at work.
Yeah.
They love all my Jude.
And it's like no Harold.
Yeah. Oh,
No
that's
Harold.
fun. I mean, there are a couple of shows I've been to in the Comedy Store where people have gotten a little overly sauced,
Yeah.
and they
That's always the
Shout
thing
out.
too. I've never seen a sober heckler in my life.
Yes.
pretty difficult unless they're like politically motivated,
Yeah.
you know, or morally motivated.
Or you get the people who are like, that joke's wrong.
Right.
Wrong, and just start screaming like that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so what drew you to stand up? Why'd you start?
I started doing stand up because I had taken about a year and a half away from doing anything artistic. I came to LA to be an actor. I did that
Yeah.
for 5 years. Had like some success, not enough to really show for. Like honestly, the only thing I can actually brag about is I was in Rebecca Black's Saturday music video.
real?
For real. I was the
Saturday,
Miley Cyrus lookalike. And like that's all I had after
Wow.
5 years.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this now.
I know. I'm
Was it
just
Saturday or Friday?
No, it
Friday's
was
the first
Saturday.
First one. So you were in the
wasn't-
sequel.
It wasn't even the original. That's what I'm saying. That's all I have to show for it.
Did she
And-
stop after Saturday, or was
No,
there a
she
Sunday?
still. Yes,
do
she
Monday.
stopped. She stopped songs
Whole week.
about days of the week, but she's still like a pretty active YouTuber.
Sure. Well, I mean, her parents. I don't know. The myth that I heard was that her parents were very wealthy and paid for this entire endeavor.
Yes and no. basically there was a music video company that was like, hey, for $3,000, we'll turn your 10-year-old into a pop star.
Gotcha.
I'll write a song for them. We'll produce a video.
What was
we'll
the name
show
of the
it at a
guy who
party.
produced that one and the other one?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he was notoriously the creepiest dude.
Yeah, and he
would take a lot of 10-year-old girls under his wing. If you know what I mean.
And he
Sounds
always
altruistic to me.
he always had he always had like a rap verse in all the songs.
Sure.
And just Rebecca's was the one that went viral.
The hit. Yeah.
And so they actually had like a legal battle between them and the dude, and being like, it's
course.
Rebecca's face, and this is doing damage to our like 13-year-old child. And he's like, I don't care, money.
You signed a contract.
Literally that, yeah. And then eventually he lost, and they got the money, and Rebecca started reclaiming her narrative as a YouTube vlogger.
Unbelievable.
And that sounded sarcastic, but I meant that legitimately with respect. Like, yeah, right?
So sorry.
Thank you.
Man.
So yeah, but that's after 5 years of acting, that's honestly all I had to show for it. And my boyfriend at the time was also like, I'm basically the only one.
Booze?
Boo, ex-boyfriend.
All right, that works. Yeah,
There you go, perfect. But he was basically like, look, I'm making my own money, but you're still being supported by your parents. Like at some point, you got to grow up.
Sure.
And I was like, fair, dope. So I decided to stop doing acting. Worked at a grocery store for like a year, and I was just like, I hate everything.
Which grocery store?
365 in Silver Lake.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like fancy one. It was a good
Look
one.
at you. Yeah.
Grocery
I was a
for the
psycho.
rich.
Oh my
Whole
God.
Foods. Yeah.
I was a psychopath when I worked at that store. I feel so guilty in hindsight because I also was very depressed and needed to be medicated because I was just too much.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong one.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
And I was just a weirdo. That's all. That's basically it. I was just a weirdo at that work, and thinking about it, I just want to apologize to everyone at 365.
What made you weird? Like you were just neurotic, or you were?
Yeah, because since I was so depressed, my ex was like, you need to be on medication. And so I was trying. I think I tried 6 different antidepressants over the span of like 2 years.
Right.
And it just psychopath. Pure, like irrational and moody and like couldn't follow a thought.
Right.
But I still kept a job. So I was like, I'm doing better.
Sounds like you were faking it to me. So.
Yeah, that's that's literally it.
Just kidding. Those mood stabilizers.
Don't stabilize.
Sort of a misnomer.
Yeah, it didn't stabilize for me.
That's funny.
But and then after him and I broke up, a couple months went by, and we broke up because I was like, I'm not doing meds anymore, and he was like, then you don't want to get better.
Sorry.
This could be a heartfelt story.
I know I'm going to stop now.
But we are
But it's not.
emotionally immature.
So
it won't
So
be.
We have to
here we
dampen the reality and sadness.
No one should feel bad.
with a soundboard that I
Ever.
can't stop using.
Exactly. You love that thing so much. When we first got it, he just, after the cousins went home, he just was.
You can add stuff to it.
Look what I added. Do a pepper.
Pepper.
Oh, sorry.
Nailed it, Pepper.
That's my favorite one. That's my favorite
I haven't
one.
uploaded it yet, but I have a recording at home that's
Pepper.
Yeah, we still need to upload pepper.
Wow.
And nailed it pepper.
That's fun.
It's so good. But basically, one night, I super missed him, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look up his children's YouTube show and see if he talks in it, because I miss his lispy voice.
explained to the viewers and
What
Seth.
just happened? He had kids?
No. So
What does he do?
he is the writer, editor, director with his writing partner for a show called Junk Drawer Magic.
Oh.
And it's just like, it's honestly, objectively a great show.
Sure.
Which makes me feel bad. But it's just like, you make magic tricks, and I hate magic.
Do you?
I hate it.
So
It's
fun.
just the depths of it. But basically, I was gonna I'm gonna watch this video, and then I'm gonna be able to hear his voice, and I'm gonna feel better. And then I find a video, and the skeleton that he's puppeteering had apparently just broken up with his girlfriend.
Oh, that's
And the
sad.
skeleton just missed missed her.
Oh.
And it filled me with so much rage that within 3 days I got on stage and was yelling at the
No
audience
kidding.
about it. It was so much anger. It's like, how dare you
Use our experience
Yeah.
for commercial gain. I'm gonna
No, but it's not even that. It's that he is such a weenie, and I fell for the trap. Because that was the trap. The trap was he would leave me a message saying he missed me, but he's not going to reach out to me. That would be too brave. I found it myself.
I see.
And that's how he knew. And just like that passive.
Yeah.
Passiveness just filled me with rage. And then I went to Flappers and I got on stage and I ranted. It was not funny. And then I got booked for a show 10 days later.
Yeah, her very first time.
During the Wednesday audition?
Not even. It was a ladies' open mic.
Oh, there you go.
It was
The
like
place where
ladies'
we're not
open
allowed,
mic
so.
where you're allowed to go. You just can't talk.
Well, then I don't want to be there.
It's like the Freemasons for me.
I was about to say. I think my grandpa and dad are part of that group.
I want to be in the Freemasons.
It's a good group.
I don't know why. I don't know why I want it
fraternity.
so bad.
It is.
Not a sorority.
So you cannot be a member.
I
But
made the mistake once of asking my grandfather. I was like, what's the requirements of being a Freemason? Because him and my dad are both Freemasons.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, you got to believe in God. And I said, which one? And he was not happy about.
Yeah.
Because my
Wrong
logic
question.
was Jewish God,
Right.
Muslim God.
And
And he
his-
said, there's only one
Yeah,
God. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, that one. Christian God, sorry.
That one. My bad.
Yeah. The one we all believe in.
Good. The one true God.
I mean, there's just one. Talk to a Muslim. There's just one God.
There is.
We all believe in the same one.
Technically,
I
He
mean,
goes by many names.
technically true.
Jesus.
Jesus? That's his son.
Oh, and also him, though.
Well, according to Catholic tradition, but not according to
Gotcha.
truth.
Not according to
Oh,
facts.
man. I love it.
You don't really, because you were telling me before, Katie, that you had, you were both brought up Catholic and then some other thing.
Catholic and Baptist.
Oh, interesting.
So it was
Dad was...
no, not
or
even.
just
Dad didn't give a shit. Mother was
Was
Protestant,
Oh.
and grandmother was Catholic,
Gotcha.
and both of them were fighting to get me into their heaven.
And was your mom Protestant only because you're first generation American on your mom's side, right?
Yeah, being a Protestant was my mother's attempt at rebellion.
Okay. And where did they all come from?
Cuba.
Gotcha.
Cuba. So very Catholic, very like I grew up with stories of like, listen,
Castro.
I don't believe in demons, but also once the Santera totally cursed your great great grandfather so that he would like walk through the street with her and shame your great great grandmother. And I'm like, no, she just had real good puss.
So he was sad.
Yeah.
Is that why you don't like magic, or was it because of your ex-boyfriend that you don't like magic?
No, it's actually an entirely different reason. It triggers something in my monkey primal brain where I'm just like, I don't understand it, kill it.
Interesting.
I don't understand it, murder it with fire. Yeah. I just no.
Not messing with that.
And it's also the showmanship.
Yeah.
The like and it's like, no, don't pretend you didn't practice that for 6 hours alone in your mother's basement. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some showmanship in stand-up too.
Oh yeah, for sure, but it's better when it's seamless and it seems conversational.
Right.
And like my favorite magician isn't even a magician. He calls himself a card mechanic. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was in
one Penn and Teller's
Fool Me.
Fool Us or Fool Us.
Yeah.
Fool Me.
Us.
Excuse
Fool
me,
us.
tiny burp.
'Cause they do FU. That's their statue.
Fool Us.
Yes, Fool Us. You're right.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
But he's a blind
Oh.
card dealer.
Yeah.
And his whole show is, I'm going to show you guys all the way a blackjack dealer can screw you.
Yeah.
And he just like can feel all of the cards and like
Interesting.
divvies out a deck and it's like,
Yeah.
and I just gave this person a royal flush.
Right.
And I won't tell you how I can feel the cards,
Right.
but I can.
But I know. Interesting.
And I'm just like, ooh, see, that's magic that I can accept because it's
It's just
not
a lot
just
of
like
practice.
it's a lot of practice, and it's a show of skill as opposed to watch me make the Statue of Liberty disappear, but really just turn the whole audience around and make y'all feel real dumb later. Like, it's not magic. That's trickery.
Was your grandma more supernatural then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandma was very supernatural. If I had a nightmare, she would come into my bedroom with holy water and be like, Hail Mary, full of grace, our Father who art in heaven, Saint Michael the Archangel.
What are your thoughts on holy water, Seth?
Interesting. You mean hand sanitizer?
Yes.
What were you going to
say?
I was going to say which my favorite prayer of all time is the Catholic prayer for Saint Michael, because it is metal as
Right?
It's so cool. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
Yeah.
Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, throws him to hell, Satan and all the evil spirits that prowl about the world. Harvesting the ruins of souls.
I mean, Adam was a pretty dope dude.
That's a dope prayer. And I actually got in trouble at Baptist church once.
Okay,
because
for
I
reciting
thought,
it?
Yeah,
said
well,
that
for
filthy Catholic
teaching
prayer?
it to the other kids. Because I was like, guys, I learned the coolest prayer. And they're like, teach us. And I had like a collection of like 10 kids, and I was teaching them a Catholic prayer in a Baptist church. And they were like,
weren't having it?
no.
Yeah. Interesting. So do you identify with both? I mean, as you were growing up, maybe you don't anymore. And we'll get to that. But growing up, you identified equally with both Protestant and Catholic?
No,
or
because
was it Baptist, you said?
So Protestant includes both Baptist and Presbyterian. The first church that we went to growing up was Presbyterian, and then we transitioned to Baptist churches.
Got it.
And I don't think it was a belief system. I think it was because Baptist churches were more fun. Legit.
Yeah,
They just had like better hymns, and like it
Sure.
was more of a party.
Sure. Well, I've heard they're more relaxed.
Exactly.
They're
And I
pretty
think
chill, yeah.
and I think that's what my mom wanted. She wanted Jesus, but like Jesus light, like Jesus on easy mode.
Sure. So now, was deathbed repentance a thing in the Baptist faith?
I don't think so. No.
It's not like you could just be like, "Hey, I accept Christ as my
Yeah,
Savior."
and I'm so
I've
sorry.
killed 50 people, but
Or I guess yeah. Because as long as you accept Jesus Christ into your heart, then you're forgiven.
interesting.
Get a
So,
little,
yeah.
get a little closer to Mike.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry,
it
a little far away.
feels
Yeah, you're
like
way far away, yeah.
even
Thank you,
with
Boo-Boo.
that belief,
Thank you.
there's, I mean, we toss around deathbed repentance pretty cavalierly.
Yeah.
But I think like a devout Baptist would say, well, no, there's a lot more that goes with accepting Christ as your Savior.
I
right?
think.
So
I think you
could-
would have to. I think after accepting, you would have to be baptized, and then you'd be good.
Gotcha. But
So
if
I
you'd
think-
already been baptized into the Baptist faith,
Yeah.
did a bunch of terrible stuff, and then had this sort of last moment conversion,
You've already been cleansed.
you're okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh,
You're good.
interesting. Okay. Fun. So
Hey, you're ready to party, bro.
yeah, let's do this.
But
So,
I didn't.
Yeah.
But I couldn't identify with being Catholic because the Catholic kids weirdly like made sure to let me know that I wasn't Catholic. Just my grandma was a big deal at this church, but like you're not
Interesting.
Catholic. You haven't taken the Eucharist. You haven't done your what is it? They make them go to like Jesus class for 12 weeks.
catechism?
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
I haven't done any of that.
Yeah.
So
Knew
I'm not
one
actually a
Catholic
Catholic.
kid
I can
growing
just
up. His name was Nico. That's
Nico.
That's a fun name.
that's Nicola.
So did you pick a patron saint, or is that part of going through?
That's part of going through all
Catechism,
that. Is picking your name and then your saint.
Got it. And what's the Eucharist? I thought.
That's the actual little bread and wine.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So
Mm-hmm.
you didn't take that ever on Sunday when you went?
I did when I was younger, and then when I turned, I remember. I think I was really young. It was only like 4 or 5 years old. They were eventually like to my grandma, like she can't have it anymore. Like it
Oh,
was cute
they
when
cut
she
you
was
off.
younger. Yeah, they were like it was cute when she was younger, but
Yeah.
she's starting to be able to understand the world. This means something now. It has to be a choice.
Right. And if she's not going to be a full member of our church, she shouldn't take the Eucharist.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
Well,
it.
you can't take the Eucharist until you're 13 anyway, because
Yeah.
because you're too young to understand what you're committing to, the ceremony that you're actually.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
isn't that
Performing.
when you get your fourth name? Yeah.
That's the patron saint name, or
Yeah,
no?
you get your you get your Catholic name.
You get your Catholic name
right.
and then patron saint. Yeah.
Got it. Interesting.
It's like you level up in Catholicism and you unlock.
Achievement name 4.
It is kind of fun, right?
Level 3, you now can choose your patron saint.
I am pretty fascinated because I don't know anything about it. I am fascinated by the traditions of the Catholic Church because they're so old.
Yep.
And then they're like, no, we do it this way. And then it's still like a dude in a robe swinging smoke and all kinds of like stuff that is really mind blowing that they're still holding on to.
Still doing
My favorite thing was that in like pre-France. Oh God, what was his name? My memory is so bad. The guy who reformed the Catholic Church.
Martin Luther?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, Martin Luther was the first to translate the Bible into German.
There you go. Yes, that guy.
Okay.
Because he was pissed off at the Catholic Church. The reason he reformed was because they all also had patron demons.
Oh.
And it had become like you go to an angel to pray for thanks, you go to a demon to pray for wants.
Huh.
And like, it was
I'd not heard
fascinating.
that before. That's interesting.
Look up.
Yeah, because Martin Luther believed that because at the time the only people that could read the Bible were educated men, educated wealthy men, or people who were at that time was anyone who was working for the church,
Right.
And then he translated to German against their wishes, so that everyone could read it. That's how like the Anabaptists started and stuff like that.
Right. Well, there was a whole Protestant. I mean, so that's why I asked like which, because my understanding was Protestant was also its own religion, not necessarily just an umbrella.
Got it. I was always raised that like Protestant included Baptist, Presbyterian.
Got it. So it's a smaller umbrella.
Yeah.
Under Christianity. Okay, that makes sense. Because I think of Mormonism as a Protestant faith.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I think Mormonism would be in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I don't know enough about the rest of Christianity to be able to like talk about that.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. Is that my phone?
I think so.
Why am I?
I was panicked. It was mine. I was like, ah.
Who's calling you? I bet it's the Lord.
The Lord.
It's Jesus.
It was
being like, save her.
He does not use a phone. He has much more direct methods of communication. So the supernatural stuff, does it freak you out? Do you believe in it still, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because basically, I'll share the experience that way. It makes sense. When I was younger, I had a moment where maybe I was possessed. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah.
I was in a church with my friend Tina.
You weren't possessed if you were in a church. I'm just kidding.
That's the thing. That's what's confusing. Okay.
No, you were in the wrong church, so you're totally possessed.
The Catholic Church. See? Incorrect. Jesus was not there.
The devil church.
Yeah.
If I had been baptized in the Catholic Church, I would have been saved. But
maybe so.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So
But I was there with my friend Tina and a guy who had assaulted me previously. But everyone was like, "It's cool. He's great. He volunteers at the church all the time." So he got a free pass, and I was like, "Chill. We still got to be friends. Awesome."
Right.
And then just like walking through the church together, I think we were all skipping school or something like that. I don't remember much of it. But the way Tina describes it to me is I got very, like, I didn't want to be touched. I got flinchy. I got growly.
And this is when you saw him again.
Yes. This is when I saw him shortly thereafter.
At the church.
After the
assault
had happened.
Post-assault.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop. Apparently, I couldn't stop staring at him.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And afterwards, when he talked to me about it, he was like, yeah, I think that demon wanted to kill me.
Yeah.
And so...
And what all was happening when you saw him? You said you were
like growling?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I pretty much like remember very little
totally
of
blanked,
it and blanked out.
basically.
Yeah.
Got it.
But according to Tina, I was growly, I was snarly, I was like speaking in a deeper register than she thought would be possible for me.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then and after a while, she made him leave the church.
Yeah.
And he left.
Like the
and
building.
And then she took me
You're
into...
out of Catholicism.
Yeah, get out.
That would have been fair, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure.
And then she took me to the prayer room where it was quiet and there's nobody else in there.
Yeah.
And then in the prayer room, I came back. And then we all went
Interesting.
outside and I was like, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I was trying not to say his name.
His name is Danny.
No!
I heard daddy, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody else heard.
No, don't make
She
Daddy
ran.
mad.
She ran to her father, apologizing for her emotional outburst.
Exactly. So like, I apologize.
Unbelievable.
But that's why I'm.
Yeah.
That undeniably happened because I had two witnesses.
Right. By the mouths of 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Truth is established.
And it sounded deep. Was that from something?
Probably a
By
Bible.
the mouth of 2
It's
or
from my
3.
canon of scripture. And
I like
have-
it.
go
I
on.
like it.
Yeah.
I know 2 or 3 idiots.
Shut your mouth.
I'm so sorry. that was too far.
You lost your talking privileges for
That's
the next
never
3
You did
minutes.
say it
far.
in such a beautiful tone, though.
You did though.
By the mouths of 2 or 3.
It's never too far. So, gotcha. So you had 2 friends that were there that told you what had happened.
Yeah, so that it definitely undeniably happened.
Yeah.
But also it's like I very easily could explain it away as like a psychotic break. I tried to turn to everyone. No one was there to help me.
Right.
In the building representing something that could help me with the man who hurt me.
Right.
Calling upon like different pop culture, like The Exorcist, like whatever,
Sure.
and recreating what I imagine a demon to be.
Or even from your grandma, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Right? Being like, hey, there are demons giving you nightmares.
Yeah, demons are definitely real.
Well, I mean, to me, it sounds real primal. Like, I mean, especially how old are you?
16.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a little older than I thought, but like, I think sometimes if like, especially if like you're backed into a corner, which in your case you were,
psychologically, emotionally.
like literally everyone was like, no, this guy's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You were full of you were the bad one.
Or just
And
forget
then you
about it.
see him, and so that's basically you're literally a rat in a cage, and you just literally would turn primal.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Like I can totally. That
I mean,
makes
if you were,
sense.
I mean, there's tons of stories from people that are in prison, especially, definitely mostly men who just black out. They wake up, someone's dead.
Sure.
And like
Yeah.
And I'm guessing if you were a larger human, you probably would have killed that guy.
Yeah,
and justifiably so.
I bet, like, if I had the strength to attempt to hurt him, I bet I would have tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, like would have just lunged at it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like I could totally see my brain being like, "Oh, I didn't hurt him, so it's okay."
Right.
I do sometimes think your brain's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you just black out and you wake up and you're like, glad I didn't.
Thanks.
I'm glad I wasn't there for that.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks, bro.
Right. Oh my gosh. So do you still consider yourself a member of either of these religions?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
Either
anymore.
one.
No. I had too many experiences of not feeling anything but playing along and then getting rewarded for it.
Got it. Yeah.
That it made it seem too disingenuous
Sure.
to like actually. Although weirdly enough, every once in a while I will still pray.
Yeah.
Just in case something
Is up there.
something exists. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your current view now on spirituality or religion? So like, what do you believe? What do you believe in?
I believe randomness makes the most sense.
Okay.
Just absolute
utter chaos.
Yeah, absolute randomness and chaos.
So when you say randomness, what do you mean?
Just like there's no reason. Like pain and suffering was not constructed as a punishment for anything. It just is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like a rabbit needs to be in pain for a fox to be able to eat. And that extends to absolutely everything.
Sure.
Of just like any kind of pain, any kind of suffering, any kind of chaos. It's just natural. That's the way it is.
Same with like joy, happiness.
Exactly.
Totally
yeah.
random.
It's totally random. You've done absolutely nothing to earn it. It's just your brain chemicals. You've had enough positive stimulus that your brain has created enough positive chemicals that you're like, I'm happy today.
So do you believe in choice and agency? Like
Yes.
consequences?
Yes.
So when you say random, you don't mean like totally random.
No, I believe
Yeah.
I still believe human beings, but maybe just human beings
Fair enough.
have truly like free choice and free will. and able to like step back and look at our actions and how they have consequences and how they affect other human beings.
Gotcha.
Like even without religion, I still believe very strongly in morality of taking care of your fellow man, of charity.
I think the fact that we're one of the only creatures with empathy can override our genetics and our instincts.
Yeah.
Thus free will.
Yeah.
It's like it's what keeps you from not lunging at that dude's throat and biting his neck out,
Right?
Which an animal would without thought, question,
Hesitation,
maybe I mean, or maybe wouldn't, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
It might,
because you see,
an animal might not even remember that kind of pain or betray or whatever.
I just don't even know if it would register as the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Probably not.
you know, we have a pretty strong sense of identity and personal space, and that can be
personal pain as well.
right, right,
Yeah.
and that can be, that like chimpanzees exhibit this as well, this sort of territorial space. But I mean, as far as like physical abuse or sexual abuse, I think humans are pretty advanced as far as
Like,
how we consider that.
Yeah, at least historically recently.
Yeah. Well, I think always. There are lots of stories. I mean, that's what Tess of the Dubervilles is about.
yeah, like
right? I mean,
even though it happened, like there are still like classic tales of like this princess was raped and then the war happened and we destroyed their country. Like
Right. I mean, I think that this, anyhow, I'm just saying, watching Animal Kingdom, you would not necessarily classify any intercourse that happens as rape. Or maybe you would classify it all as rape. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know.
Ducks are rapey.
there might
ducks
not
are
be the same
absolutely,
thing.
and
Ducks are
and
the
there's
king of
just
rape.
Well, they have the female ducks have multiple vaginas. To trick the male
to try and
ducks
trick them, and then the male,
And the male made a corkscrew penis,
I
man.
mean,
to get after her. And the worst part is, here's the thing. Technically, I don't know about same species, but I know for a fact that interspecies rape happens.
well, yeah. I mean, that's how we
Sea
get
otters?
mutts, right?
Well, no, dude, it's worse. It's worse. Sea otters will steal baby seals,
Yeah.
take them underwater, and because male sea otters hang out in gangs. They're literally
Sure.
called gangs.
Sure.
So they'll all come together. They'll steal a baby seal.
Yeah.
They'll drag it underwater, all gangbang it while it's drowning, and then keep the corpse for up to a week to continue banging it. And then once
Wow.
it stinks, they just throw it back
Otters
in the
are monsters.
They're
That is
they're not
They're
cute.
adorable. Like, I'm going to eat this little fish.
But
No, you're
like
a psychopath.
But like the concept that,
This took a turn.
and it's almost like stuff like that makes it so.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Stuff like that makes it a lot easier to not believe in God, because the thought that
Interesting.
was constructed
Yeah.
Pretty up.
hurts.
Yeah, but so your idea of God growing up was what?
Was a benevolent being who created the world.
Yeah.
They created everything with thought and love.
Okay.
And like, I grew up with a very like loving God, to be honest. It was
Yeah.
all the people around that worshipped him that were terrible.
Yeah, interesting.
But God himself was always good, was
Yeah.
always nice, was always loving. And then as I got older and saw more of the world, how could a loving God have created that?
Yeah. I guess that's where choice for me is big. Because I understand some people believe God created sort of all good and all evil. But to me, it seems to make more sense to think of consequences as
Yeah.
not necessarily created by God, but just laws of the universe that we all abide by, right? So if you're going
Exactly.
to make a certain choice, it's going to come with certain consequences. So it's not like God intended to make someone that was a serial rapist, for
Yeah,
instance. Like they
yeah.
are making terrible
Those
choices.
are their choices.
Or there
yeah.
are genetics, right, that are bad.
Yeah, that are predisposed.
But anyhow,
No,
so that's interesting. Yeah. So what drove you? Did you have like initial doubts about church, or was it just perpetual attendance with no inner feeling?
yeah, perpetual attendance with no inner feeling. And then also I remember the moment that like Christianity broke in me is 6th grade world history. It was like September. It was very early into world history. And he was like, so in the year, blah, 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 Constantine rewrote the Bible. And I was like,
yeah.
What?
Sure.
You mean human beings have with this? And I had already, I already was in the firm belief was that God is good, people are bad.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't want to go to church anymore, but I was still praying. I was still, like, studying the Bible in the morning, doing, like, prayer journals.
That was God, right?
Exactly. Yeah. God is good, and my worship of him is good.
Right.
And then to know that even removing myself from people with the text was just still people.
Right.
It wasn't God, it was people.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want it anymore.
Right.
And like the only way it would be good enough for me was if I learned like the
original.
Yeah, if I learned Latin
and
read that.
Yeah. And
like truly understood it. Truly understood.
Right. Still an option. You know?
That's so much work, man. That's so much work, and I'm
that's
not that
true.
smart. I'm Cuban, and I can't learn Spanish.
Oh,
you expect me to learn Latin? It's not going to happen.
You could do it. I give you 2 years. You could do it.
And then, okay, I'll check in 2 years.
Did you ever feel a personal connection to God? You know, without scripture, without church?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I almost don't know if that feeling that I have is God or something that I created to fill my God-shaped hole.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Where I like really want to believe in God.
Hole.
So I like that's
another term.
That's what I call my giner. My God hole.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my
God.
I'm gonna keep all my comments off here.
Boys, gotta pay the troll toll.
Get into this God hole.
Get into that boy. Anyway.
What is that? What is that in reference?
That's Always Sunny.
Always Sunny.
Gotta pay the troll toll to get into this boy's hole.
Boy's soul. Boy's soul.
That's what I'm saying. Danny DeVito.
Oh man, that's a great show, but we're not on it. So, interesting. Okay, yeah. So you felt maybe this sort of cultural or societal need
exactly
for a God.
Yes, very much so.
May have filled it psychologically.
Exactly.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, and it's so funny because saying out loud, I'm still like nonchalant, and I'm like, I don't know. But literally, like 3 days ago, I was sitting in the bathroom, being like, listen, send me a sign of what I need to sacrifice to you, and I will make a sacrifice so that I don't have $1.67 in my bank account. And I'm still like waiting for a sign on like what offering God
I
wants.
think 3 days ago, Ajax ate all the trash in the garbage can. So I think that was a sign that we should sacrifice Ajax.
You know what? That's biblical.
Yeah.
That's biblical. That's my
give
son.
this dog to you.
Oh my God! Yeah, no. I'll bring Ajax to the top of Joshua Tree.
Right.
I'll lay him upon the stone.
Right.
And then right before I kill him, God will descend and be like, nah, here's $500. And then I'll be okay.
I don't remember that part of the story.
Yeah.
I don't remember
That's
that.
how it works. That's how it works in the Bible.
And he gave him a 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go. Thanks
like,
for
chill,
the sheep.
bro.
He said different gold tablets.
Go buy.
Yeah.
Go
Different
buy some
stone
goats.
tablets.
I heard guns for some reason. Go buy some guns.
Buy some guns. We're going to need it for the corona.
Oh my
We are.
gosh.
How are we doing on time? I feel like we're close.
You got to learn those buttons, Vic.
I know. They both start with S. We're about 45 minutes right now.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
So just got 15 minutes. Haven't we?
Yeah. So have you had any other supernatural experiences since?
No, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah.
It's like if I die without having another one, I'll know that it was a psychotic break.
Oh, okay.
But all I want is to have one more
Yeah.
to make it have been real. You know, now
Yeah.
that I'm
Well-
mentally healthy and I'm not over medicated and I've been to
Yeah.
therapy and like
Yeah.
I'm in a good place.
Right.
If I had another supernatural experience, I'd be so stoked.
Yeah.
I'd
Do
be
you-
so
do you
happy.
believe in ghosts or no? Not at all. Where are you on this?
No, I have a pipe dream of a show that I want to do one day.
Yeah.
Where every episode we just attempt to scientifically disprove a ghost device of some kind.
Oh yeah.
So like try and do
the anti-ghost hunters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then at the end of every episode, when I scientifically prove that this is just picking up electrical signals in the room or static electricity in the room or whatever, it's just a shot of me crying and sobbing because I want ghosts to be real so bad.
That's kind of a fun idea.
But just every single episode try and
Travis
prove
doesn't approve.
Travis disagrees. Travis
just
usually
don't.
likes my ideas. That's how I know
I
it's
like
a bad
that.
one.
I'm fine with that idea because ghosts definitely don't exist.
But what if we can let's try though.
They've tried.
But
There's
let's
people who spend their whole lives going, did you see that chair move? Why are they hunting in the dark? Ghosts don't get scared by dark.
Listen,
You
that's
don't
when
know
the
what a
ghosts feel
ghost-
safer.
Yeah. Can you not project your feelings on a ghost, please?
It's just when your
Seriously.
eyes work the least good.
Hashtag me too, Travis.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't know what a ghost has been through.
You
dog.
don't understand. People
dying
walk through
at
them
the bare
every
minimum.
day.
Have you died before, dude? Do you know how traumatic that can
Not
be?
all the way. I have done a tremendous amount of cocaine once.
That sounds like living. That sounds like living.
That doesn't sound like
I was going to
dying at
die
all.
at least 92 times.
Oh my gosh. So the reason I ask is because I too am a little bit on the fence with ghosts and like spirits.
Mm-hmm.
But I am inclined to believe in them because there's this doctrine within my faith about the spirit world. After we die, our bodies and spirits are separated for a time, and our spirits reside still on this earth in like a different plane of existence, right?
I actually think growing up, my Baptist church stole that from Mormonism.
Oh, really?
Because I don't remember that in like the Baptist faith, but I remember one sermon specifically, just one sermon.
Maybe it was just this one
where
dude.
he was just like, your loved ones could be sitting next to you right there.
Yeah.
And it's just like a white lady, and she's just like, ooh, like
Gerald, are
yeah,
you here?
exactly.
I mean, I
The
think it's probably
spiritual
pretty.
world and the oh god, corporeal. The spiritual world and
Yeah.
the corporeal world intersect. There could be a spirit train going through this church right now, and I'm like, what are we? Where is Jesus here?
Spirit train.
Because I don't.
At the top.
That's literally when he said the spirit
conga
world.
line.
That's what I remembered is spirit, because that's what he said. He said a spirit train, and I went like that, and I'm just like, what are we talking about?
Trains have souls?
But yeah, I really want ghosts.
Or do they
to
just
be
mean a
It's a
line?
machine.
Yeah.
I think he
mean,
just
obviously.
meant. I think he just the spirit subway. I think he was just talking about a mode
metro.
of transportation. You know, a figure of speech. That's what I'm
Autobahn.
looking for.
He was just having fun.
Yeah,
I think he was just having a
He's
good
letting
time.
loose. He's being vulnerable on stage.
He's a Baptist preacher in Florida. They have no
Yes,
rules.
yeah.
No
Come
rules.
on.
No rules.
But I think, guardian
Lord.
angels, right? There's this idea of
Yeah.
patron saints, guardian angels, even in Catholicism. That
Yeah.
I think this idea of the spirit world being close to us is pretty common in Christianity.
Yeah.
And other faiths.
Yeah, in
right? I
everything
mean,
actually.
Almost
That just
every
like
religion, yeah.
yeah, has a way to be like those who have died stay with us.
Yeah, like the
somehow.
Shinto faith in Japan is all about worshiping ancestors that are still.
That is the only thing that
present.
really, because I think I've said on this podcast before, I don't necessarily believe in souls because there's no technical proof, but like
Sure.
every
There's no proof
religion,
for or against.
every religion does bring up the spirit,
Yeah,
which is a very odd thing
The
for them
soul.
all.
a very consistent.
Yeah.
Not even this. I mean, yeah, it's something that's in you
Yeah,
that goes
this
somewhere.
eternal thing.
Yeah,
That goes
which
away.
could just be early man really just trying to figure out why do we know we exist.
Sure.
Like almost like a justification for consciousness. Like
Right.
we must have another thing
Maybe.
that's
Yeah.
that's alive.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
mean,
man.
I don't know. So, all right, let me give you an opportunity to ask anything about my faith that bothers you, whatever it is. You're curious about anything.
Honestly, I know very little about Mormonism. I wouldn't even know
Good.
like what to. Oh, this may be a good question. This is just silly
Every
and
question's
ridiculous.
a good question. But yeah, go on.
Why, when I was a child, were there holy Bibles in hotels? But now
Oh, yeah.
there are books of Mormon. It's never a holy Bible anymore. It's always a Book of Mormon, and it was
You
always
guys
a
really
holy.
took the money.
Yeah, you took over hotels. How did you guys do that? What was your strategy?
Force.
You know the chain Marriott, the Marriott hotels? Mm-hmm. He's a member of our faith.
No.
Yeah.
That's what it is. My family are Marriott Rewards members, so that's why.
There you go. Typically, there's both. My experience is that there's been both. There's a Book of Mormon and a Bible. Now, people might be stealing the Bibles.
Maybe
or something,
that's for joint paper.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon uses thicker paper, higher
toilet
quality.
paper now. I don't know.
Yeah, right? People are
be
going
nowadays.
crazy.
But that's why. That's
Mm-hmm.
why, as far as I know.
That makes me happy. I like that. I know that now.
It would be fun, though, if we had this coordinated effort to rent rooms and slip.
And just trade them
We have a
out.
whole network of hotel employees.
They don't like it when we
Smuggle
knock
in the
on their
Books of
doors, so
Mormons.
we'll hide in their drawers.
Yeah. But that's why. I think.
Yeah, I
think
like
that's
that.
why. That's my off-the-cuff answer.
Second, what is something that people tend to like believe about Mormonism that you hate, but you understand why people think that way?
That all Mormons are good people. It's the worst. What do you mean? Like a polygamy thing? Like everyone thinks that we're polygamous?
Maybe like that.
Or-
Yeah, like an
What's a
example.
stereotype, I think is what
Or
it
yeah,
is.
like
that
an
what you're getting
example
after?
as a woman is I was talking to Anthony Martin at one of the mics last night, and he was talking about how he has a joke that's not working, and he's like, it's about how
Just
like
one.
boom,
Got him. Roasted.
Burn, Anthony.
take that.
Fight me, 6'5" ginger. Sorry.
Burn. Inhale. Yeah,
Because he doesn't have a soul.
I'm laughing too hard. I'm dissing out. I'm literally forgetting what it was.
Oh, so women, you were asking me, is there anything?
Oh yeah,
Anthony Martin's
yeah.
good
He
solid.
was he was saying that like women change themselves for men and then
Okay.
get angry when they notice that they've changed themselves for men.
Oh,
And like I didn't know what advice to give him because yeah, like women do. And like I think that was the only point that he missed is like, yeah, women do change themselves for men, and then eventually the resentment builds up to a breaking point and you get pissed about it.
yeah.
So like I hated that he was right. That that women do that. And that's a bad
Dude.
They do that. They do
You
that.
are my soulmate, Seth Lawrence.
I love it.
Can Travis be your other wife?
The
The gay.
the gay.
That's what it is.
If polyandry makes it in.
I look enough like a lesbian where it's not that gay.
Yeah. I have advice for his joke, which is I think women get mad not when they notice they've changed, but when they find out it wasn't worth it.
Key
I also
point.
have advice for Anthony in general. He's too young to have too many hot takes.
Yeah.
I've told him this on several
How
occasions.
old is
I
he?
was-
How long has he been doing
hot
it?
takes.
Anyway, we
22.
can talk about it
I
later.
love him.
I
But-
just told him once, I was like, bro, no one gives
Yeah.
a full flying
If you're
what a
divorced,
21-year-old thinks about relationships.
yeah, and if you're not divorced, currently married, or have a reputation of being a ladies' man,
Yeah.
nobody will care. That's probably why it's
Yeah.
not working.
Like, I think you should be at least in your 30s before you start commenting on what makes a good relationship.
Yeah, at
And
least,
even then, like, sometimes shut the
yeah. Sometimes it's just not funny. You know, it might just not be a good.
Yeah. I've thought of so many
Route.
bits in my career that I think are just great points. Like, what a point.
Yeah.
What a point you
Good
got
point,
there.
but
And
not
people go, oh.
funny.
Oh, okay.
And then, then I'm like, well, now I'm here.
That was it.
That was it. That was the end.
Yeah.
You might all hate me. Yeah, and I try to do one joke that I'm not sure anyone else will like, but that I like every
yeah.
set. Just something for me.
Be a little true to yourself.
You know,
yeah.
just something for me that I like.
Honestly, yeah. That's,
And if that's his
always
joke,
my
that's
advice,
his
too.
joke.
Yeah. Like, if you're not doing it for you, then,
Yeah,
And what are you doing?
right. Exactly.
yeah, like, don't be selfish about it.
So to answer your question,
But yeah, something like that. Something that's like, oh, that makes me mad, but you're not incorrect.
right. I don't know if there's anything quite that's like incorrect. I mean, I guess what I'll say is this, right? The caffeine thing I have to deal with a lot. In that people outside of the faith and a lot of people in the faith believe that caffeine is a no-go, right? You can't drink coffee or tea
I've asked you that question before.
because of caffeine.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's more frustrating talking to members of my faith who sincerely believe that
Yeah.
than it is to talk to anyone else because they just don't know, right? But talking to someone who is a member of my faith and who is like, oh, no, it's because of caffeine. It's like, it's not though.
Yeah.
Like, so that for me is where it gets irksome.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think there's any stereotype or misconception that other people have about my faith that I find annoying.
Yay. Good.
Because it's just like they just don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, that's where I am.
Anyhow.
I know very little about Mormonism. I feel like everything I know about Mormonism I learned from the Book of Mormon, and they're probably incorrect.
Yeah.
The play.
Right. Not the actual book.
Yeah, the musical by Trey Parker.
And I will say this, for Trey Parker or Matt Stone, they get very close. If
I've
not,
heard it's incredibly
pretty
accurate.
correct.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't around. They do their research
No,
on stuff.
yeah, they grew up in Colorado. At least one of them did.
Uh-huh.
And so they were surrounded by members of my race. So
My race.
my religious race.
I like it.
But they get really close. When I was serving my mission in Quebec, a lot of people I talked to in college towns in Quebec knew of Mormons only because of South Park. And it made actually teaching them about Joseph Smith way easier.
You
I
had,
think the first time I
very
ever
few are
heard,
talking points.
even the word Mormon was when
Yeah.
is the episode where a bunch of
They go to
Christians
heaven?
they go to hell. And they're like, actually, the correct answer was Mormon. And they went, oh, what, really? Which is hilarious.
So fun. All right. What do you want to plug? What do you got going on, Katie? Thanks for joining me, by the way.
Thank you for
this was
having
so fun.
me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is very fun. Honestly, the only show that I'm doing because everything else has been canceled because of Corona is this one's 30 for 30 show.
Hey.
I'm hosting that.
Excellent.
I'm going to be
fun.
doing little one-liners about him and whatever comic is coming up on next.
Beautiful.
Except for Anthony Martin, I'm going to tell him this guy once sneezed directly in my face. Anthony Martin.
Anthony Martin's not
He
doing
did. And it wasn't his fault too, because he went to sneeze over his shoulder.
You were just right there.
I'm perfect shoulder height for him. So he went to sneeze over his shoulder, and then my face was right there, and he was just like, "No!" And it was too late. So yeah, that's how I'll do it.
Oh, that's fun. Cool. All right. So Travis is 30 for 30, which is on 21st.
March 21st.
Are you selling tickets? Free show?
Free show, birthday donation accepted, Venmo, Clyburn Comedy.
Please send us money.
Please send us money. Help.
Excellent.
Oh God.
They are on their own, folks.
If you want,
they are on their own.
If you want Travis to get laid, Katie needs to get less stressed. So give him money. That's how it works.
Go to GetMeLaid.com, aka Venmo, Clyburn Comedy.
GoFundMe.
Everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody's there. Everybody
Kind
knows
of
what's up.
it's a go me page. Okay, hey.
Hey, waka waka.
Hey, yo. Let's get that.
The joke's not going to land in
humor
the
outta
edited
here,
version.
man.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think
I'm
it
okay
will.
with that.
I think people will get it.
At least you just impose your voice.
go,
Go
beep me.
have relations with me.
Oh no! I just realized I probably shouldn't have cursed. How much did I curse?
You're
A
fine.
lot?
Dude,
Everybody-
no, he edits this and I
Yeah,
curse.
it's fine.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Everyone's
Dope.
okay.
Dope.
Yeah. You're cool. Just repent on your deathbed.
I will. I promise. I will.
Just to bring this all
I'll pray
full circle.
just one more time, just in case. And I've lived a pretty, even if not religious, I've lived a moral
good.
life. So I think
Pretty good.
I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay.
So where's the 30 for 30 show?
It's going to be at the Fourth Wall Cafe, the only place that's not shutting down because Joe doesn't give a poop.
Dude.
Flappers is not shutting down either. We had our search from the health department, and they're
Yeah.
like, we a go.
Hardcore parkour. Sweet, man. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
And
me.
you guys all take be safe, hunker down, I guess, and be fun. Have fun. Be good. Bye.
Amen.